Hello, this is Mort Burke, co-host of America's only podcast, Rebrand. Not Danny Wright, British person, and community manager of Rebrand's Discord, whom Mort gave a script to. We're joined today by magnificent Los Angeles comic and actual branding professional, Hannah Renee. There's lots of talk about our dog Cody, and if you'd like to see more of him, go join our Patreon, where we have lots of pictures posted that will convey to you how much of a magical puppy dog he is. Also, if you join our Patreon, you'll get access to our Discord and tons of piping hot, unreleased content, including an extended version of this episode where there's lots of inside baseball talk about stand-up amongst other things. That's right, baseball, not cricket or glovesmanship or whatever they call it in England. Thanks so much for supporting our show, and please stay safe and be kind to yourself today. Aluminium. Schedule. Oregano.
Rebrand. Ding. Hello, beloved consumers. I'm Ashley Burch.
And I'm Mort Burke.
Oh, beautiful, honey.
Fucking note perfect.
God damn. What is he, Celine Dion?
We got Curtis Mayfield over here.
What is this, a 90s diva? Welcome to Rebrand, guys and gals and they-thems. This is a comedy podcast where we inject new life into tired old brands, whether they be snack food, celebrities, or religious institutions. Cody's licking my hand.
Cody's our dog for
Cody's our
new,
dog.
for all our new listeners.
And he mandates, he cries if he's not in the same, if we're in a same, oh my God. Shh, shh.
Good night.
Good night. If Mort and I are in the same room and Cody is not also in that room, he cries and cries and cries until we let him in.
Sidetrack. I don't really want a men's rights podcast, but if
Wow.
I did,
What an intro.
If I did have one, and it was about learning how to see women in public, it'd be called Mandate.
That is good, actually. That's very good.
Yeah.
I can see that our guest needs to be introduced because she has thoughts about what you just said, and I can tell. Would you like to introduce our guest?
Yeah, I like to start things off by sometimes throwing a real curveball into the situation, as though I'd like swung right politically somehow. Honey, I'm so excited to introduce our guest. She's amazing. I met her doing stand-up comedy out here in Los Angeles. She's an incredible comic who travels all over America and up here in beautiful hot town America, which is what I call LA now. And she's also
This is a flawless intro so far, honey.
I hope that it's
Impeccable.
45 minutes long. She says one sentence and then the
podcast
program is over. I'm so bad at introducing shit.
No, you're not. You're good at it.
I really do like our guest, and so I always want it to be genuine and fruitful, you know?
I know you want people to give a standing ovation after the intro, but it's okay. You're right there, honey.
She's a brilliant comedian, and she truly is a branding professional. We're so happy to have her here. Hannah Renee is with us.
Hello, hot town Los Angeles. We're here.
Hot town, summer in the city.
I would give you a standing ovation, but that might disrupt Cody, and I can't do that to Cody.
No.
You know.
It'd be sad. No, he needs perfect nap time while we're podcasting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cody is a pity mix, and we just discovered that Hannah also loves Pitbulls, so she's our favorite guest. Everyone else keep up.
And he loves you. He's a very loving boy, and
He is.
I love me a thick boy. You know what can I say?
who
What
doesn't?
can I
yeah,
say?
man, he's a thick king. This guy.
His head is as thick as a big old loaf of bread, ain't it, buddy?
Yeah, he's a big old brick head. And okay, so how do you feel about the rebranding of Los Angeles as Hot Town America?
I mean, I think it's great. You know,
Pretty
'cause
strong, right?
Honestly,
strong.
what's that being said, I mean, we are in the peak of like chilly Los Angeles, which is where, you know, it gets down to a frigid 65 and we all show up in furry coats and
Yeah.
like I'm wearing so much more clothes than I normally wear, but like
People are in ski masks
yeah,
and
but
stuff,
hot
yeah.
town, sure. It's, you know, there's hot people.
Yep.
It's mostly hot.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
It's warm. It's glamorous. Hot LA nights is what I'm thinking of.
I feel like
Sure.
I can sell Hot Town too. You know,
Yeah.
that's really the key.
How would you sell Hot Town?
How would I sell Hot Town? Just, I think I mean, the name kind of sells itself.
Right.
Which, as a branding pro, is a great call. Because
Yeah.
that means I have to do less work, which
Yes.
is my favorite thing.
Right.
So,
Is that the goal of a rebranding person? Is just to do as little work as possible?
truly, yes. Like, it's very much like producing in the fact of like, if everything's running smoothly, you don't have a lot to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, if your job gets complicated, that's usually when you're bad at your job.
Things have gone horribly wrong.
Things
yeah.
have gone wrong.
Something's
Right,
wrong with the
right.
brand because the brand should be simple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yep. So Hannah is here to help us rebranding.
Well, you also wanted her to do an assessment of how we're doing with our podcast,
Oh,
huh?
yes.
Exactly. I kind of want to address the show and do a little performance review and see where we're at here in our, I believe, 23rd episode.
Nice.
23.
I think so, yeah.
Congratulations.
Magic number 23.
Thanks, yep.
I mean, I do listen to the show. I'm a fan. I follow along. I think that let's start from the top, from a visual standpoint, visually, love the look. I
Great.
think, you got the cute icon, it's the two of you, but it's not too much of the two of you. It's a strong name. I know exactly what I'm getting. It's one word. So, from a structural standpoint, strong brand.
Great. Wow.
Wow.
I'm so
Content-wise, garbage.
Yeah. Impenetrable.
Well, there's always things to work on. I think that there have been, I will say, I think you guys nailed the Bagel Bite, like the first episode, Bagel Bites. I listened to that the other day.
Uh-huh.
It's still a banger.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That, so strong out the gate. I would say you maybe were too strong out the gate. You guys should have shit the bed a little bit at the beginning.
Damn.
Interesting.
Have we gotten worse as we've gone on?
No,
Sounds
I
like-
think
it
it's.
sounds
I
like
think
that's what you're saying.
I think it's only been peaking. It's only been peaking ever since.
The only answer I will accept is every episode has gotten better from perfection. That's the only.
Yes, it's just compounding perfection.
It's true.
It's
Well,
really impressive.
And the first episode, I feel like we did come in hot, which is great. You have your entire life to write your first album, and that's how we are. That's how we did with our first episode. And it's like sort of morphed a little bit because the thing is like the first episode. This is so navel gazing, but the.
Especially hilarious to do when we haven't even hit 100 episodes.
No. And it's a podcast. Like, we're having the greatest hits episode of our podcast right now. But I feel like for all the Uber fans out there, and I know you're out there, that one, we can only do so many, doing impressions of ad executives, I feel like. I feel like we burned a lot of good we burned a lot of funny branding, satire stuff early in that one. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So what I'm enjoying now is kind of having a little bit more like a conversation that turns into a rebrand where I feel like we're learning more about things and it's funny. That's where I'm at with it.
What do you think of that, Hannah?
I think that, as somebody who, my day job is branding. I'm a brand director, so I appreciated the branding because it was like getting into the niche subtopic that I'm acutely aware of and that no one else cares about. So it was, for me, that was really fun. And I will say, I was like, do I have to hire Mort to come rebrand the brand I work for? You're so happy right now.
I just pointed at him because he had a big old smile on his face.
Yo, this show is not an accident. I do think I'm a branding expert.
I think you might be. Truly.
I think I'm maybe like a cultural analyst, I think.
Oh, it was, budgets be damned. I think there was a Megan Thee Stallion. I don't have the budget to afford you is the problem.
That's true.
Well, I've always my entire life been kind of obsessed with cool. And so it's not that hard for me to pay attention and sort of understand what is in the zeitgeist that's actually authentic and interesting.
Right.
And then, of course, if you're a brand person, wouldn't you want to tie those things to your brand? It seems like fucking
obvious.
Yeah.
Hannah, what do you think is the current brand of branding?
Branding as a
concept, as an
branding
entity.
As a concept. Well, I think branding might have a problem in that everything is now branding somehow.
Yes.
Right? It's like you have your own personal brand. Like LinkedIn is like your own personal brand. And then there's the brand that the company you work for. And then there's everything has become branding. So I'm like, does branding even matter anymore?
Does it even exist? If everything is branding, is anything branding?
Your human life is a brand with Instagram and all the other social media stuff, right? So we've commodified being a human being, which is profoundly dark.
Let's go.
What's interesting is what you're saying. At some point, it becomes such a level playing field that none of it means anything, really.
How does that feel as a person that brands for their job?
Oh, it's horrifying. I fall apart ethically on my job all the time. I'm like,
really?
Oh my God. I'm always like, does this even matter? Are we just contributing to capitalism? What are we? I probably shouldn't. I didn't say where I work, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I think if you're a branding person who hasn't had this breakdown, then you're drinking your own Kool-Aid, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
So
totally.
yeah, it's how do you like make something cool? How do you authentically make it cool, but it's inauthentic naturally because you're trying too hard?
Yeah.
I'm a conflicted branding person.
Yeah.
Professionally, personally, the whole
Well,
nine.
there's no ethical consumption here, and there's maybe no ethical professionalism in America also.
So that's why I'm wondering, is there something to leaning into that as part of the branding of anything that you do? Of being like, this is morally repugnant, but here we go.
Well,
kind
that
of thing.
was,
yeah.
there's a great, goddamn, okay, this is getting
Cody
too,
farted. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
honey, every episode is going to have 5 minutes on Cody farting.
Oh,
just so you
God,
know.
it's just, it must be remarked upon. It is the worst smell conjured by the greatest living creature. It's just such a dichotomy.
Yeah, it smells like a dump exploded. It's crazy.
It's his brand, okay? It's
Yeah.
his brand. It's
But that was David Foster Wallace's thing about advertising, is that's when it became ubiquitous, when it started to be satirical and functional as advertising. So that
Right.
happened around the 80s.
Oh, I see.
When they're like, we know this is lame, right? But you're like, okay, you still want us to buy it, and people still buy it.
So what do we think the current vibe of branding is right now? Well, it's everything, I suppose.
Well, it's just like the same 3 Hollywood actors in every Super Bowl commercial.
Right.
That's what it's become.
Totally.
Is it's just like, okay, Chris Pine tested good with the audience, so he'll be in every single commercial.
Yeah.
Because God forbid we take a risk. It's yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, what if Seth Rogen and Jeff Goldblum were here? You know what I mean? That's what I think is so funny about a lot of Hollywood stuff. The answer is always, what if we got somebody really famous? Have you thought of that? You're like, yeah, that's like being like, I like money. You're like, yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah,
That's,
right. Obviously.
You know, I have an idea. So if we want to try and go back to the OG rebranding, we could try it with Pitbulls, because we were talking about rebranding Pitbulls. So
Oh, sure.
we could do a little scene about pitching Pitbulls to these, how to rebrand Pitbulls to some executives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the current brand of Pitbulls then is that, look, if you're in the know, you know they're the greatest breed of dog that exists.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
The reality is sweetest dog children alive.
I love them so much. I mean, he's sleeping in my lap right now. His big ass head is on my leg.
He's
He's
a-
stinky.
yeah.
He's snoring. He's just the greatest guy there ever was.
He's a stinky angel. It's like if Jim Belushi was a dog and incredibly nice and beautiful.
so not at all like Jim Belushi. R.I.P. R.I.P. R.I.P.
John Belushi, R.I.P. Jim Belushi tragically is still with us. I want to turn this into an anti-Belushi. The new brand is an anti-Jim Belushi
Ooh,
podcast.
I like that. I'm into that.
So I feel like the current brand for pit bulls, for those that aren't in the know, is that they're dangerous, they're aggressive, they're violent. You can't trust them. One must cross the street with their dog, clutching their pearls and the dog to their chest.
Yep.
If they get even... There's a lady that I was walking, and Cody just like turned slightly toward her to sniff her. And she was like, oh! Like she was like an old-timey cartoon woman that had seen a mouse and jumped on a table. And I couldn't help myself. I was like, he's not gonna hurt you, because I was just so annoyed because he's so sweet. But I think that's the current brand. Which, look, like there are some aggressive pit bulls. I get it. People have been bitten by dogs. They have traumas. I get it.
But like, have you ever met a corgi? Like, actually?
Yeah.
Because
Eating,
they're
like, some-
equally as aggressive.
They're so aggressive,
Yeah,
corgis.
corgis are what you think pit bulls are.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Most small dogs are extremely aggressive.
Well, they freak out on Cody all the time.
all the time.
The difference is that if Cody were to attack, it would be a catastrophe.
Oh, he'd bite them. He'd bite them in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, with one
Directly.
chomp.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, so I'm branding expert Mort Buzz, right? I show up to the ad executive offices of Pitbull Incorporated, okay?
Uh-huh.
I got my Ferrari.
Oh,
Alright.
the Ferrari's back. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Pitbull? Is that the license plate?
License says Pitbull, and on one side is airbrushed Pitbull, and the other side is airbrushed the rapper Mr. Worldwide Pitbull.
Yeah.
Because I also represent him.
He's got to be involved. Some.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm not trying to get ahead here, but like,
He has to be.
we all
involved.
know where this is going.
You ain't fucking kidding. Exactly right. So I pick up my cell phone. I call the executives, the 3 executives on the 50th floor, and I say, I'm not coming up. You're coming down. And then I hang up the phone.
Love that.
They call me back. I answer the phone. I say, fuck off. And I throw the phone into traffic.
I love how Hannah was like, I liked this bit in the first episode, and you're like, I gotta bring it back today.
Honestly, this is my dream. Like, I wanted it back.
Honey,
so.
she's a branding professional.
You're right. No, I know. You're right. You're right. I just love that we waited 23 episodes to do this bit again. That's great.
I mean, you don't do Fox Mulder in the first episode of X-Files and don't bring it back.
No,
You know
you're
what I
right.
mean?
You're right. You're right.
You gotta do Mort Buzz, the ad agent.
I forgot his name was Mort Buzz as well. Okay, please continue.
That may be new. too. But
No, I think that was correct. I
yeah.
think that's right. Yeah,
Mort
okay.
Buzz.
Mort Buzz.
Okay,
Please
so
continue.
these old pieces of shit, because all executives in my mind are. That's why they respond to me so well, because they know that I hate them.
Yeah.
And people in power only trust people who revile them. I find at the heights of corporate
Oh,
structure.
absolutely. I mean, these are the guys who pay to get their balls stepped on. Wait, can I say that on the show?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yo, you can't not say that.
Okay,
on
I
the
should
show.
say it. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, for real, absolutely. No, these guys are torture kink
Yeah,
personified.
100%.
So how's he doing so far, Hannah? He's forced them to come down to the first floor, and he's thrown away the phone.
I think that, I mean, if you're the executive of Pitbull Industries, I feel like you're already a pretty, like I imagine these dudes to be like kind of like these are Joe Rogan-y kind of guy, like not, and I love it, like but they're big boys, they're thick boys.
they're thick
you have
boys.
to be a thick boy, I think, to work at Pitbull. I mean,
Yes.
Interesting. So you think they take after Pitbulls
oh,
physically?
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
cool. I like that.
probably.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Hey,
They're gym rats.
yeah.
Right.
I
Totally.
see them as aging gym rats personally. So
So old and thick.
old
My
and
favorite
thick.
combination.
Yeah, wide and aging. So, and you're saying to me, Mort Buzz, you're by yourself. Why would you throw your cell phone? I intuit that one of them is looking out the window at me, so it's another alpha power.
I
move,
see.
Right?
Okay,
That's
right.
how little this guy cares. What a psycho. What an artist. That's what
Right.
they think to themselves.
Right.
So I've already dominated by the time they come outside,
Absolutely.
right? So they come outside, and I hit them with an entirely new angle, which is I just point at them and I do the come here finger, you know?
Uh-huh.
They come over, and
And then do you tell them to sit?
I tell them to sit.
Ooh, that's
Right?
good.
Power
Yep.
play.
hmm And then they do, and I put a dog bone in one of their mouths. And I go, "You fucking love this, you freak."
This is getting hot.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. And two of them are turned on, and one of them's like, "Should I call my wife?" Right. So then I open the door to the Ferrari. It's
Okay.
it's an F-150. That's it.
Important.
Unaffordable. So you cannot purchase an F-150. I've got one.
Uh-huh.
17 Pitbull puppies run out of the Ferrari.
Oh my God.
And the one I have trained the most sits in front of the man whose dog bone I placed in his mouth, patiently waits for that man to lean forward, and that Pitbull puppy bites the dog bone out of his mouth.
oh.
And I say now, "Hey, listen up, you stupid sacks of shit. Is this what you think of when you think of Pitbulls?" And they shake their heads silently. "No." And I go, "Why? Why aren't you thinking with your hearts, you fucking animals?"
I have one question.
Great.
Only one, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we remarketing Pitbulls to the people that work at Pitbull Industries?
No. This is they don't.
campaign.
Yeah, this is the campaign.
Okay, I understand.
So we haven't gotten to how we're gonna get everybody else on board.
I
This
see.
is just how Mort gets in the door, but not in the door because he doesn't want
because
to
he's forced them to come outside.
That's it. I won't
Okay, I understand.
I won't sully my artistic integrity on the grounds of the corporate
Yeah.
structure.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So okay, so we're in this scenario, the old white men of Pitbull Industries have been marketing them as like an alpha dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so our rebrand is that they're actually sweet cuddly babies.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because as we know, we were told recently that the opinion of Pitbulls is actually based on a racist campaign that was tied to the war on drugs, right?
It's true.
What?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, completely. Oh, the Pitbull was
Here, let me pull
America's
it up.
favorite dog.
They
Like,
were called nanny dogs before. Did you know this?
I knew Nanny Dog.
Yes.
But I didn't know.
but like Our Gang, this like 50s sitcom with these kids, they had a pit bull. The MCA dog, like looking into the Victrola, that's a pit bull. Like they were known to be like the sweetest
Yeah.
all-American dog. And then with Reagan, there was a war on drugs, and what was associated with that was the fact that black people were dangerous and owned pit bulls.
I'm gonna burn down a building.
Doesn't it make you
Oh my
feel
God.
insane? Yeah.
Literally, okay, the Pitbull was America's mascot in World War I. I just found an image of a Pitbull wrapped in the American flag.
Yep, that's what it used to be.
Watchful waiting, it says.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find an article or something about the war on drugs.
I am gonna be radicalized by the end of this podcast.
That's what it's for.
I'm ready.
Yeah, the anti-pitbull sentiment is an aspect of white supremacy.
It's difficult to find information about pit bulls
it always
when there is a rapper named Pitbull. I'm really getting a lot of stuff
Yeah,
about like
that's a
Pitbull
lot of
opening up
Pitbull.
about his addiction. and,
Oh,
like,
good for him.
And God bless, but I am trying to look up stuff about the dog.
And that's why I got him out of the way early on, because I knew the people are going to be like, what about Pitbull? I'm like, all right, we fucking...
yeah.
Don't go to A to B with this. Let's
But
go
I
to
think
A
that
to-
there's an interesting, what are we gonna do with Pitbull in the campaign? Because I
Mm-hmm.
think we can all agree he probably should be involved in some way. But I think that
I think he must.
I've got an idea.
yeah.
Okay, please.
So this is the first commercial when I'm going to pitch to these people. I just picture me acting it out. Also, Pitbull steps out of the trunk of the F-150. Okay, so he's
Why
there
was
as
he
well.
in the trunk?
I like trunk for him.
See, honey, this is why we needed a professional
Wow.
to understand the pageantry and the theater of why Pitbull is in the trunk. Because making things appear is a magic trick, and people are simple.
You're also putting the dog ahead of the man, which I think is something that we need to do with
okay,
this campaign is right. Like, because dogs are usually, in the back of the truck or but in this circumstance, the puppies were in the front and Pitbull was in the back. So
Yes.
it's kind of an ethos statement about what we're trying to get to is a world where Pitbulls are equally or higher than people.
Look, the Pitbulls immediately, I don't care who you are, their heart is changed, right? And then you hit them with the left hook of Pitbull, who, by the way, is only wearing a thong. Now...
All right, I'm back off the boat. I'm off the boat again. I'm not on board anymore.
You're going to need to sell me this.
Yeah,
one, too.
I'm gonna need to be sold why Pitbull's in a thing.
I misspoke. Pitbull is wearing a full tuxedo.
Great. I'm back on.
Okay, great. I go, what's up, Mr. Worldwide? And he goes, I love dogs. I just hired him to say that phrase.
Okay,
Nice.
great.
Okay, I'm like, we'd actually.
Well, can I posit something actually?
Yep.
Because 5 seconds ago, I learned that Pitbull struggles with addiction. I know nothing about the addiction. I didn't look into it. I have no more information other than he talked about it once on something that came up in my Google search. But addiction is misunderstood. Pitbulls are misunderstood.
Wow.
Hannah just interlaced her fingers, and that's exactly, I wish there was a word for that. There probably is in German. Synchronicity?
Copacetic?
Copacetic?
Yeah.
But-
Well, in the advertising world, we call it synergy,
Yeah, synergy, thank
yeah.
you.
which is not my favorite, but I think it's accurate here.
Yeah, right.
So here's my pitch for that.
Right.
What you do is sort of an in-film branding, right? Where Pitbull's addiction recovery journey is covered and addressed through interviews, childhood footage, all that stuff. And an aspect of that is him learning to love and connect again through a love of his dog, Pitbull.
Oh.
His dog is also called Pitbull.
His dog, Pitbull. His dog is a Pitbull, and his name is Pitbull.
So when he loves Pitbull, he's really loving himself as well.
This is so sweet. I'm like so on board. This is the wholesome factor,
Because what you're saying is true and accurate, and in my opinion, too deep. And if a commercial tried to address it, it would come across as corny.
I feel that.
So this is a commercial. So Mr. Worldwide's on tour. We're on private planes, right? We're on jets. We're,
Right.
maybe here's a nod to his addiction thing. Everybody's drinking Alizé on the private jet. And
What is that?
It's a kind of booze.
Got it.
And he turns it down and drinks a sparkling water instead, right? So those in the know, oh, he's staying sober. That's amazing, right?
Right.
So it's all that, and it's like him performing over and over and over. He's in Australia. He's in Austria. Just like quick shots of his performances,
Sure.
right? People going, Mr. Worldwide. People fainting, crying,
Right.
puking, people going insane.
Right.
Right? Then cut to him in his hotel room, and he's exhausted. And you could tell he's sick. He's got like a thermometer in his mouth. He's got a cool rag on his forehead. It's very clear that he's
He has
been...
one of those pouches that have ice or some indeterminate
the
substance.
weird, like, hot water
Yeah,
bottle.
Yeah,
well,
I don't know what they
yeah.
are, but they always
Yeah.
have them on the head of the person that also has a thermometer in their mouth.
Yeah, he's doing all 1940s cold remedies,
Yes, of course.
basically. Yeah. He's got a ribbon around his head like he has a toothache,
Oh yeah.
right? And they're like, Pitbull, you've got to be better by tomorrow. Like his assistant comes in, we've got to play Madison Square Garden, and he goes, you know what to do. And then they let 30 Pitbull puppies into the room, and they climb all over him, and then cut to him right before the next day's concert, and then they go, how you doing, Mr. Worldwide? And he flashes a big, beautiful smile with that bald head, and he goes, 100% baby. And then he looks at the camera, and he goes, 100% Pitbull.
Oh
Wow.
wow. Mort just dropped his mic.
Yeah,
everyone.
he just gingerly rested it on his knee, which is
mean-
the closest he'll get to dropping this mic because it's expensive. But
Beethoven didn't ask to play the piano.
he might have.
He probably did.
I want to say also, this is just an anecdote because I am really just trying to convince people that Pitbulls are the best dogs because I love them so much. But my colleague Michelle, her family is a Pitbull family as well. And her sister has, I think, 2 kids. And one of them was learning how to walk and was hanging out with Michelle, and she had her dog there. And the dog was just like watching the kid, and the kid was about to eat shit. The kid was about to like fall and like land on the ground. And the pit bull got right behind it, caught it with its head, and put it back on its feet.
Nanny dog.
Nanny dog.
Yep.
I think that's the other angle, right? So we've covered, we've got them hooked with the puppies, right? Which puppies, great angle in, always down for puppies. But I think we also need to be advocates for older pit bulls, right?
Beautiful.
So I think we got, there's the element of like like, is Pitbull married? Or is Pitbull?
You know what? Let's consult.
We should consult the Google.
My guess is his hitting bottom had to do.
But I
with
think we should do,
domestic struggles.
Pitbull is a family man, like, right? We cut to next commercial.
Yeah.
We cut to a few years or maybe decades, I don't know, later.
Yep.
People also ask, who is the wife of Pitbull? No one asks that. No one asks that way.
Who is the wife?
Who is the wife of Pitbull? He's not currently married, but he has 2 children, Destiny and Bryce, with his ex-girlfriend, Barbara Alba.
Okay.
So he's a family man.
Okay, so he's a family man.
Yeah.
So I think
and a
we
single
do-
father, really, which can be powerful.
There we go. So we cut to the kids walk. I think we do the nanny dog situation.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But it's, the kids are toddling up to their own personal mini DJ booths because I'm certain
They're
I'm
both.
certain his children have those.
that's
for sure.
Tremendous.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Little tiny headphones.
And then it's kids being little Pitbull DJs
Yep.
with the Pitbulls watching them perform.
Yes.
And they have like little like air cannons.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's
that's
like a
very
cute
good.
kid video with older Pitbulls.
Yeah.
And what if we just took all of these like internet video stereotypes and
Yes.
just found a way to work Pitbulls in?
That's
Yeah.
great.
Without it. Oh, absolutely. The I
Right?
Love Turtles kid.
Oh yeah.
I love Pitbulls.
Yeah, exactly.
There's actually more.
The kid who loved corn. You bring
kid-
him back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he probably loves. Yeah, get him to say he loves Pitbulls.
That kid who yodeled in Walmart and became famous. Remember?
The little girl that I love that interrupted her dad's interview on CNN during the pandemic. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
Little
Oh,
baby with
yes.
glasses. Mm-hmm. It's her stomping around next to a Pitbull.
The
She's
little
riding a Pitbull.
Race, I think her name is, who heel flipped 3 steps at like 7 years old in a full fairy costume. Remember when that went viral?
I love how we're all, and myself included, we're naming children that are no longer children.
Oh yeah.
That are
Oh, yeah.
certainly aged.
Yeah. No, the
Well, that
yodel
could be
kid
the-
is 60 years old now.
That could be the next commercial. Is those kids getting Pitbulls?
Oh.
Like where are they? Like where are they now? But instead,
Oh, wait,
it's
I
like,
got an idea.
yeah.
So the yodel kid now, he's 26. He walks into Walmart and he starts yodeling, and everyone is bummed because it's no longer cute anymore. So
Right.
it's just people looking disgusted and walking away
Sure.
or whatever. And then he goes to a shelter and gets an old, and it says, yeah, everybody needs to be loved.
And then it's him and the Pitbull yodeling in Walmart.
And everybody's
together.
going nuts. Yeah. They love it.
Yeah.
I did have an idea many moons ago that I made no effort to bring to fruition that I think would be cute, called Seniors for Seniors,
Yep.
where you pair senior dogs with senior citizens.
Love that.
Because often it's hard for dogs to get adopted out when they're of a certain age.
Yep.
You know? So if you have a senior, you got an old dog that doesn't need a bunch of playtime or lots of crazy walks or whatever. You have senior citizens that might need some companionship, and you pair them. You have a little dating service, seniors for seniors,
Yeah.
and you can have a whole pit bull wing.
Yeah.
Maybe even for like folks that because isn't there some sort of prison rehabilitation thing with like caring for
Oh, yeah.
animals?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
As there should be.
I think
Yeah.
that's the philanthropic lane that we pitch to these CEOs, because what we know about CEOs, they love a tax write-off.
Yep,
right.
and
They
they love to
love-
look altruistic, and they love a tax
So we
write-off.
have
Right.
this whole this is a robust campaign at this point.
That's
Like,
true.
I mean,
Also, with the addiction thing, you get Pitbull to bring a handful of puppies to a rehab. Because I will say that as a person who is sober, dogs are excellent like tools for recovery. It's really
Definitely.
true. They're so beautiful. It really like can help you heal. You know.
I will say too, as much as I mean, obviously Pitbull has to be associated with this, but I think we really extend the brand of Pitbulls if we get like a fancy lady as
we
part of
do
this
need a
campaign.
fancy lady.
You know what I mean?
Like a Helen Mirren or like
Wow.
Yeah.
right?
Wow,
Helen
we're bringing
Mirren.
Mirren in on this thing.
Yeah. You got to bring Mirren in. If you get a little photo shoot, a little
Yeah.
Vogue photo shoot with her and a pit bull,
Yeah.
every single person is going to be like, oh, Helen Mirren likes pit bulls?
Yeah, her on the cover of Vanity Fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Vogue.
Looking
We got it.
stately.
With a pit bull with a little diamond collar.
Oh my
Yes.
God, walking at Paris Fashion Week.
Yes,
Oh,
hilarious. Little tiny high
Right?
heels on the Pitbull.
Oh yeah.
What if we did a Met Gala, but it was only for pit bulls?
Now we're talking. A pet gala?
A pet?
Oh, fuck! Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? The Pet Gala! Are you fucking joking?
Cody is so confused.
Mort's feet are in the air.
Yo, we've had 23 episodes, and that is the greatest idea I've ever heard. It's
That's the
I mean,
greatest
there's
idea
a reason
ever.
you're a pro.
There's a
Hey.
reason you're a pro.
There's a
Thank you
reason
so
you're a pro.
Maybe I will send this to my boss.
The Pet Gala.
The Pet Gala is so good.
Wow.
How is no one? Hold on, I'm Googling this to see.
That has
Yeah.
to be done, right?
I don't know. We'll see. Hold on.
If not, we gotta cut this part out and sell this.
Yo,
to
it's
someone.
so good.
Dolly Parton's Pet Gala.
Well, hey,
Of
look, we're in
course,
good
Dolly.
company, right?
Oh,
yeah.
that
We're in
makes
good. We're in good company.
Okay. Also, great fancy lady for pit bulls.
Actually, I like that even better than Helen Mirren
I
because
think so.
Dolly Parton is the only national treasure we have anymore.
Oh,
And her hanging out with pit bulls, dressed fancy.
Yep.
I mean,
there could be like a section of Dolly World that's called like Bullyland. That's like a pit bull adoption center, and like you have to. It's like you have to exit through the gift shop. You have to exit through the pit bull puppy land,
Yeah.
and you have puppy elder dogs, all of the pit bulls.
Yeah.
But
You have to look them in order to get out of there without a dog. You have to look the dog in the eye and say no.
Yes.
no one will be able to do
that.
it.
So they'll all go home with dogs. And there should be a dog coaster, which is shaped like a dog. And you go through, it's like what we were talking about with the cameras on the dogs' heads at the dog park
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's built to make you feel like you're dog sized. So there's a tennis ball you're chasing, but the tennis ball is the size of like a car, basically.
Oh, that's funny.
You know?
And then at one point, the coaster just goes into another dog's butt.
Stops right before it,
And then
like moves
backs up.
around it. Yeah, totally.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Initially, I
you can
thought-
tell at some point you're like, "What's going on?" You're like lifting in the air, and you're like, "Oh, we're taking a shit."
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, it could be a sort of an informational, a la the sort of Jurassic Park, not the actual ride, but the thing in Jurassic Park where they're teaching him let me start over. I don't want to talk anymore. Honey.
You don't have to, honey.
I don't know what to
It's only a
talk
podcast.
Anymore.
You don't have to talk
anymore. You know that part in Jurassic Park where we're in the chairs and Mr. DNA shows up and they teach them about the dinosaur cloning?
Yeah, I love that ride.
Okay, I got there. So it would be like that, but about pit bulls. So you would get the sort of history of pit bulls. You'd learn about the nanny dogs of it all. You'd learn about, and this is a ride you are mandated to ride before you exit through the gift shop, which is a pit bull adoption.
Not to be confused with my men's rights dating podcast mandate.
Great callback.
Well, would it be a men's rights podcast? Because wouldn't it be about guys dating?
That's an excellent point, that it could actually just be teaching men how to be,
Better dates.
how to choose wisely, be discriminating, and also be open and vulnerable,
Yeah.
and have dignity around themselves.
Yeah. Or it could be about, like gay stuff.
Is this how
Or
Rebrand
gay.
becomes a podcast network? Am I witness? Am I witness?
Well,
We have
that's
an MCU.
Well, I think that with your power here, I feel like we're all sort of ingratiating your deep professional understanding of Rebrand, and it feels like we have so many ideas we can barely contain them. I got another commercial pitch.
What's that?
Hit it.
Kendrick Lamar
Nice.
is walking down the street in his beloved Compton, Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
There's a white lady walking towards him. She sees him. She crosses the street.
Oh.
Cut to Kendrick Lamar receiving the Nobel Prize. Then that lady is walking towards a pit bull, and she crosses the street. And then cut to that pit bull
Winning the Nobel Prize.
winning the Nobel Prize.
You gotta mic up the Nobel Prize, and it's just got the like the.
There's like bacon hidden under it, so the dog will
yeah.
go after it or whatever. Yeah. And then it says it's okay to be different. That's what it says.
Oh
Oh.
man, that's like year 2, right? Like you gotta like start. you start with Pitbull, the fun, silly, cute internet. So but by year 3 or 4 of the brand, that's when you really got to start hitting them. Right. Like that's your Nike, ads with a purpose. You got to really start making political statements. And I think that what we're building is a 10-year brand strategy here, really.
Interesting.
I love a 10-year
I do wonder about It's Okay to Be Different. Because
it's othering.
I think it's othering.
But there is, I agree, yes, because they're actually not different, right?
It should just, the tagline should be, "You're racist."
Yeah.
There we go. That's a good idea. I think that as
You are racist.
as the general intelligence level of the country arguably lowers,
Plummets?
I think we're gonna need to start being a little bit more direct. So I like it.
Yeah, I think that's great. Well, okay, so I have a question for you then, Hannah, to get back to you specifically, because I love what you said about 10-year brand strategy.
yeah.
Is that something you specifically work on in your career? And what do you find yourself focusing on specifically? What are you good at? Are we talking brand narratives? Are we talking logos? What are your strengths?
What are my strengths? Wow. Is
Sell
this
yourself.
part
Brand
is this
yourself
part
for
of
me.
mandate? This is I think
If you want me to set you up with one of my very attractive singles,
hey, you heard it here. It's documented.
More toddies, as we call them.
I think for me, it's kind of the holistic, the piece, understanding, what makes a good brand, what makes something unique, what makes it I kind of get into the research of it all. I love demographics and how things change. It's not the sexy fun stuff.
you like the stats?
But I like the stats.
Uh-huh.
I like the stats.
They're informative, I imagine. That has to be
yeah.
yeah.
Because I feel like we overthink things constantly, and the stats kind of force you to not.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it's,
Oh, interesting.
it's
Yeah.
kind of oh no, it is that simple. You don't, I mean, let me be clear. I love a multi-layered thing that has a secret storyline and all that kind of, but I work in consumer packaged good. I work in stuff that you sell in the grocery store,
Right.
which is basically, does it have cool packaging? Is it the right price? Did I see my favorite influencer drinking it at some point?
Uh-huh. And that's pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
Yeah. Okay. And honey, do you have an idea?
Cody just did an audible toot.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That sounded like a balloon releasing
Honestly-
air. It's
Oh
so
yeah,
funny.
that's I can smell it.
It's bad.
Yeah, he's awful. He farts like an alcoholic. It's crazy. It's like living with Bukowski.
He's like, this bitch is getting a little too full of herself. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take her down a peg. I
He-
get that.
It's like
Sweet,
what
he,
Paul Giamatti's farts smell like, I imagine.
Cody's like, let's get back to talking about Pitbulls. Let's keep it. Hey,
He
we
looked
let you
up
have
at
your
me with this doe-eyed, loving gaze, and he kissed my face, and then he put his head behind my back, and then he went,
Yeah.
and that's my boy in a
That's
nutshell.
why he's incapable of experiencing shame around it, which I love.
Yes,
You
he's a
know
very
what I-
confident boy.
He is exactly who he is, and everyone loves him because of that, really.
I've
Like,
actually
we've had people lean out of their car windows and go that's a beautiful dog. Like,
truly. And people will, I've never, because there's a mall, an outdoor mall that we've taken him to before. And Mort went into the Apple store for something, and I was sitting outside with Cody, and I was just sort of people watching. The number of people that looked at him, locked eyes with him, and just smiled. I've never seen that kind of reaction. I react to every dog that way, but I don't see that very often. But it was person after person after person were he just brightened their day.
that's another commercial right there.
I mean,
Yeah.
Also, does that go to say do we need to rebrand Pitbulls, or do we need to rebrand the people who don't like them?
Wow.
That's true. It's not the Pitbull's problem.
It's not the Pitbulls.
Because the Pitbulls are perfect.
Yo,
Pitbulls are perfect.
it's this thing where people find one thing that they consider to be bad or criminal in some way and project all of their fears onto this one creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every way they can't keep their child safe, all of a sudden is projected on this one breed of dog. It happens to be pretty sweet, actually.
Have you guys seen? Oh, God, I may have asked you about this, honey, and then never actually prompted you to watch it because it's so heartbreaking. But we have black cats and a pit bull, so we have the most maligned domesticated.
We are living saints.
We're,
Oh wow.
but there's a.
Oh,
Oh wow!
I see.
You
But
guys get the Nobel Prize.
there's a Pixar short called Pitbull that's about a black cat and a pit bull becoming friends.
Oh my God.
That's the two most maligned domesticated animals.
That's our whole life.
I
Except for our
know.
cats hate our dog.
Yeah, they hate him. Boy, do they hate him. But it starts with this is this pit bull's a sweetie that's been bought to be a fighting dog is like heavily implied at the front, so it's quite sad.
Yeah,
But
I can't handle it.
I know I don't think you can handle it. I
Yeah.
don't think it would be good for your psyche. But there are some people that are trying to like do the Lord's work in terms of rebranding Pitbulls. Like we need some sort of like family movie targeted toward the waspier, the suburban among us.
We get the creators of Pete and Pete, and we get the guy, Nick, who wrote Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, it's Nick something, right?
We get them to combine on a script for a children's film. A wondrous, wonder-filled, imaginative film around how pit bulls are incredibly
I think I've got an
loving.
idea.
Okay,
Okay,
hit me.
great.
So, do you want me to start with the title or start with the concept and then tell you the title? What are you
Title
feeling?
first.
Title first. Okay, the title is Pit Crew.
Oh my fucking ever loving Christ, that's a good name.
Right?
Jesus Christ.
Pit
Are you
crew.
listening, advertising?
Yep.
First of all, we don't agree with you, but also you're leaving money on the table by not
That is so good.
by not immediately promoting Hannah Renee to the highest levels of seniority. That's unbelievable.
That's unreal.
Now I will send this to my boss. So, okay, so the movie is Pit Crew.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And it is about a ragtag group of pit bulls who work at a NASCAR track.
Yes. Are there okay? So is it all dog NASCAR? I.e., are the dogs driving?
Yes.
Great.
So it's a collaboration between, we got to get Disney involved. We can get the Cars Enterprise.
Oh,
Right?
yes. Very good.
But
very
it's,
good.
it's the team of the Cars, maybe not Disney. I don't know. We'll work.
No, but it sponsors itself, right? Because NASCAR is brilliant with like Mobile, Tide. All the sponsors
Right.
will come running because you just plaster those on the cars.
Yeah. Honestly, all I really just want to see is a little pit bull with like its little drill going and changing a tire.
Yes, with his
That's all I
tiny.
want.
Yes, with his tiny, clasping it with his tiny paws.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And then they're all like, "We did it!" And
Yeah.
then the
Go,
car,
go,
go,
go. Yeah,
go,
yeah.
and they have little like headphones over their little pit bull ears.
yes,
That's
totally.
so good.
And then they, they're like in racing stripes. They have little race stripe collars, or I think they're actually wearing like full outfits. Like
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
like they're in
Full
regular,
like
yes.
onesie
like race
jumpsuits.
suits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But they are like, okay, so when you said Wallace and Gromit, I'm imagining this is claymation. Just I think that would be so goddamn charming.
Love.
Like, especially when you said the hands thing, I feel like claymation is so good at making that feel like tactile and really satisfying, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we would use Gromit rules, where Gromit can stand on his hind legs and use his paws, but when he walks on all fours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think imagining like a race car movie in claymation would be so fun.
Smoke clay, like smoke made out of clay,
or like
just
cotton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cotton. Ooh, love that.
Fuck. Pit
And in
Crew
a
is
world where
so
everything
good.
is AI now, having like something that's handmade and
Yes.
like that would be so refreshing.
Tangible is that it has heart, it has soul,
Much like a pit bull.
much like a
Much
pit bull.
like a pit bull.
I'm worried about how much money Pit Crew's gonna make. Is anybody else?
Yeah, I'm terrified.
Is anybody else?
I don't think I'd make a great millionaire. I would do. I think I'd be bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
What, worse than the ones we already have?
Well, no.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Valid point. Very
Yeah.
valid point.
Yeah, yeah.
There'd be some weird shit going down though. I don't know.
That's my thing. We said this in a different podcast, but I'm like, I wish you would become one because these guys are being so fucking boring with the
Yeah.
amount of money that they have.
Totally. The only thing
Oh.
they can think of is, what if I went to space?
Yeah.
You all thought of that, you idiots.
Yeah, you dummies. Make
Yeah.
a town.
Exactly.
Make a town that's only roller coasters. Like,
There
what are
you
you
go.
doing?
Yes, right.
Anyway.
What if you bought 1 million people geodesic domes to live in? That'd be hilarious.
I would be building the dog butt roller coaster.
Yes.
That's investment number one.
Yeah.
And also-
a doubt.
To get that close to Dolly Parton, are you kidding?
Are you kidding?
What a
Yeah,
dream.
man. Right.
dream.
Yeah, absolutely. To just sit with Dolly and have her spin some wisdom, and then take that into your life.
Oh,
Powerful.
Very
work.
powerful.
Yeah, this is the untold billions that Pit Crew is going to make is, I think, going to be able to fund an incredible amount of good altruistic stuff. Because that's the thing about being a billionaire. Like, I'm going to get a Ferrari on top of a Ferrari and still have far too much money left over. You can get the helicopter that says fuck off on the bottom
Ugh.
and has your face
Giving a wink.
on the landing pad.
yeah, and the face of your enemy, and you're giving it the middle finger. You know what I mean? Do
Oh,
all that and give your money to unhoused people. It's
Right.
not that
It's
fucking
not
hard.
that
It's all possible, baby.
Do it all.
Yeah.
So do you aspire to higher levels of the advertising world?
I aspire to comedy at this point. I love where I'm at. I think it's really fun. But I've seen, like, this is the first time in my professional career I look at my boss's job and I go, oh, I don't think I want that. Because the higher you get it, like, within the organization, just the more responsibility it is and the more, like, you have to deal with the money piece of it and making sure you're providing value to shareholders. And that's where I get really like anti-capitalist, and I'm like, no, why does it all matter? And yeah, so I'd love to do my own thing. I'd love to help make Pit Crew.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
Do a little consulting on the side or something.
Yeah,
and
consulting would be fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't see why you and I don't have that job already.
I think we could probably make that
You know what I
happen.
mean? Hire Adidas, Nike, hire us.
What would be the name of your company, your consultation company?
Two Real Productions.
So real.
You're like, is it the number 2? Yeah, it's the number 2.
Real. I can see the merch, which is always, honestly, the judge of a good brand is like, can you see it on the merch? And then you're like, okay, that make a good T-shirt.
I guess they're too real. I don't know.
That's like too real. We're so real.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I do love that. That's why I like this show, because we get... Really, capitalism partially is a disease of creativity. We're human beings, so we have all these incredible ideas. But the problem is we see fit to execute all these ideas. Like, oh, what if I made paper towels? Great, but then I should probably sell billions and billions for no reason. No, skip that. Just put it out there in a form of art. Just give the ideas. That's what we're doing here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I would love it if at some point, we could all just be like, we're good. Like in a capitalistic society, we could just be like,
good.
We've sold enough.
Yeah.
We're good.
We're good.
Oh,
Yeah. And
What a dream.
everyone take 3 months.
take 3, man.
My God.
Go inside and take a look at yourself and see what you find.
Hey,
You know what I mean? Because it might be terrible. Some will be hard, but some of it might be kind of fun.
little company ayahuasca retreat. I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
Have fun.
Yeah, with like a legit shaman, not an LA tech bro shaman.
No.
Or adopt yourself a pit bull.
Or all roads lead back to Pitbulls.
I got one more simple pitch,
Sure.
which is the 2 Pitbulls, 2 kid DJs, Bryce and Destiny.
I no longer remember, but I can look it up.
That feels very close.
Wait,
I think it's-
Bryce and Destiny.
Definitely Bryce was one of them.
You're right, Bryce and Destiny.
Yeah,
Wow,
yes.
good job, honey.
Destiny.
Yeah, because I was like, if I had to imagine the most suburban children's names I possibly
Yeah.
could. So Pitbull is sweetly teaching Bryce and Destiny his new dance. And it's adorable because Bryce he's a little too small to be able to dance, and he's doing like the kind of hip hop crossover pop and lock thing a little bit, and he starts to fall, and behind him
Is a
sweet pit bull grabs him just by the scruff of his neck and gently places him on the ground.
You're talking about Pitbull's Pitbull named Pitbull, right?
Yeah, Pitbull the Pitbull.
Yes, that's right. Just for continuity.
Yep, exactly.
I also was going to say on the, we were back and we were talking about Pitbull, that there should absolutely be a situation where then he brings Pitbull to Pitbull onto stage.
Yes.
And then like a good Pitbull, there's a video I saw online of there's like a class Pitbull, like there's an elementary school that has a class Pitbull.
Yeah.
Who kind of just sits there. He just sits there in a suite and everyone comes in and says hi to him. He just sits there.
Like all day long?
all day long.
Oh my God.
They put little hats on him and he sits on the stage for like the choir concert. So that would be this Pitbull as
That would
well,
have changed the trajectory of my entire life if there would have been a dog in the classroom.
Oh, I bet, honey.
Yeah.
That would have been a huge thing for you.
Truly, yeah.
You'd be like, this is a thing? I
Yeah,
want to be a teacher.
I'd be a professor instead of a podcaster.
Well, and that's the world we're trying to create here with,
Yeah.
with our Pitbull campaign.
Yeah.
I think if the executives haven't been sold yet, I mean,
There's nothing else.
I think at this point, with all of the money we've raised by selling Pit Crew,
Yeah.
we've probably taken over Pitbull headquarters.
Yeah, without
Oh, yeah.
we
shoved them out of the 50-story.
What
Yeah,
we did
100%.
was broke their hearts and then healed them in a way that they recognized that they no longer needed to pursue wealth to experience wholeness.
Exactly.
Yes.
We've rehomed them too. We've, like
That's
they're
right.
in. They're
we rescued
safe.
and rehomed
We
them.
rescued
They
and rehomed the
they-
CEOs.
Yeah, they are now like amateur painters and like folk songwriters and stuff. You know what I mean?
Wow.
They're like struggling at coffee house open mics.
Oh my God.
And
God
they're-
bless 'em.
They've never had more joy.
Never.
They're free of the responsibility of running this enormous company, which was just a ballast to their spirit.
Oh, beautiful, honey.
Thanks.
Another Cody update, since this is about Pitbulls, it's only fair. I'm sitting on the edge of the couch, and Cody has shoved his way between my body and the back of the couch and has put his head on the arm of the couch and is staring off into the middle distance like he's thinking about his next novel.
Yep.
What
Yeah,
I
he
enjoy
always,
is that he's not sleeping. He's just staring. It's
yeah.
Or it's like he's trying to sleep and then I keep moving because I'm talking and he is just very gently opening his eyes and then closing his eyes. And
Yeah.
opening his eyes and then closing his eyes.
He always looks contemplative.
He does.
Yeah.
When I saw his, because I saw him on Pet Finder, and in his pictures he looked so austere. He was sitting in the sunlight, and the sun was making him squint a little bit, and he just looked like a very, very serious boy. And I remember thinking, which is maybe one of the dumbest thoughts I've ever had, like, what if this dog is too serious for us? Which I'm like, he didn't choose this picture. He wasn't like, no, take another one. I want to look studious in it. Like, this is just a picture they took of this. This says nothing about the personality of the dog.
Yeah, you're like worried he's gonna act like somebody who has a philosophy degree or something. It's
like, keep it down. Enough with the jokes, please. Like,
That
what?
makes me like think like, what if Cody does feel that way? Like what?
yeah.
What if Cody is like, I should have been with a lawyer family, but they shipped me to Hollywood and I'm with the podcast crew? What happened?
All they do is talk about farts. It's fucking humiliating.
How dare they insult my flatulence? I just imagine him with like a huge vocabulary.
Oh yeah. He's like, it's their piss poor dog food that's making me have gas.
Hannah, thank you so much for joining us. Where can the people find you?
I am at Hannah's Got Jokes on all the things. Hannah's Got Jokes on Instagram, hannahsgotjokes.com for tickets and links and, tell me if you want to come see me in your city. I'd love to come say hi.
And bring her to your club because she'll do wonders out there.
Send me pictures of your Pitbulls. I would love that.
And where can they find us?
You can find us at Rebrand the Pod on all the socials. Go join our Patreon. You get access to our Discord where we get to talk about how much we love Pitbulls or if you've had wonderful experiences with them. No negativity. And we posted the unedited video of the anime episode. So there's hot unreleased content on our Patreon. So go join that there. And thank you so much for hanging out with us, you guys.
We love you.
Bye.
Adopt a Pitbull.
Bye.
Rebrand.